Hi, I'm Megan Baker, and this is InfluenceHER. Daria Mallin is president and managing principal at Envision Architects, a New York State certified woman-owned business. A Capital Region native, Daria leads the firm's work in a variety of high-profile projects across the area, including SUNY Schenectady, NYOH, Albany College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, the Port of Albany, and Siena College, just to name a few. Welcome.
Thanks, Megan.
It's
Great
so
to be
nice
here.
to have you here. You had said before that you never wanted to be an architect, yet here you are. What changed, and what would you say to other women who are really trying to figure out their career path?
Yeah, I think that my backstory and my career path is an example of it's okay if you don't know what you want to do. It's okay if you want to change your mind. There's a whole world out there to explore. I went to college initially for human development. I am a child of an architect and a planner, and I always joke around that I wanted to be a therapist for children of architects.
That's
so
interesting.
I studied human development, which was a lot of psychology at Cornell in undergrad, and about halfway through that track, I was overwhelmed by the reading material. It was pretty dark. And I started dabbling in some other classes, some design studios, and realized that I could find a path where I could help people and inspire people and guide them through life, but not do it through one-on-one counseling, which if I couldn't read the material, I knew I wouldn't be a good counselor. So I started taking design classes, and in my first interior design studio, my first professor said to me, "Have you thought of being an architect?" And I said,
Wow.
"Jack, don't go there." But we went there and we explored it, and I switched to facilities planning and management and ergonomics, because those both have a lot of design and they're there to help people in their physical environments. And I fell in love with it, and then I took some architecture classes, took 2 years off after undergrad, put up a building in the company, and then basically went on to grad school for architecture.
Did you find that some of your early studies actually helped you in your career as an architect?
Absolutely. I mean, human development, we design spaces for people, right? And for furthering people and for supporting them in the places where they live, work, heal, and learn. So having that fundamental understanding of human development, even though I only studied it for 2.5 years, really laid a nice foundation for me when I think about space to really be thinking about the people.
And we will get to that and why you have prioritized that throughout your career too. Yeah. Envision Architects, as I mentioned, is a fully women-owned and operated with you at its helm. What advice do you give to empower other women entrepreneurs who feel like they have something to prove or they have to prove themselves?
Yeah, thanks. That's a great question. I think the notion of having to prove sets you up for a challenge. It's almost like cognitive bias. If you think you have to prove something, you're looking for those challenges. So the first thing I would say is get comfortable with yourself. Get comfortable with being a woman in business. Surround yourselves with others that are comfortable with that as well. And really charge ahead, supporting other women, but not getting so hung up on gender. I think the world is changing, and hopefully it will be less of an issue in the future in architecture.
I'm right there with you. I'm hopeful that it's going to happen. Women are disproportionately represented in the science, technology, engineering, and math workforce. We have a long way to go. What would you say to inspire women to pursue a career in STEM?
Yeah, I think there's kind of two sides of how to think about that, at least in my mind. And one is, if you're inclined already, if you love science, technology, engineering, math, I like to add art in there, so it's STEAM and not STEM. If you're ready to go. The world is out there for you, the support is out there for you, the public's out there for you, the programs are there. If the words science, technology, engineering, and math intimidate you and you're interested in dabbling, that's why I like throwing in the word art too. So much of art is backed by science and engineering and math and even technology. I mean, if you think of what we consume today in terms of products, electronics, entertainment, actual art, digital art, it's related to STEM. So if you can find that piece of it that sparks something in you, STEM's really part of everything. Mm-hmm. And if you want to be a part of that component, it's there for you.
I think math for me was a challenge,
sure, yeah.
you know, and so that was something that I was almost intimidated by, and then that started back in 7th grade. So
yeah.
I went the route of communications, fortunately. So here we are. What are the best resources you can share for women looking to grow or improve their business?
Sure. I think, speaking from experience, having an array of mentors with different backgrounds who have overcome different struggles, different ages, different demographics has been really helpful for me. I think that as a leader, it's really important to be constantly gathering different points of view. Mm-hmm. And not making decisions or thinking through issues in a vacuum. So I would encourage women in business to work with other women in business, but also other supportive men in business, mm-hmm. and find those groups, find a tribe of folks who have been through it and gotten through it, because they can be an example to you.
How would you describe your leadership style and what you've built at the firm?
I think that my leadership style has evolved over time. I think I probably spent the first half of my career thus far as a bit of a hothead. I'm still very direct, but I'm direct with much more patience and empathy, especially having gone through the pandemic and some other crises with our team. I'm finding some magic in the pauses, in not telling answers right away or giving my opinions right away, and seeing what comes from them. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually really enjoying that. They inspire me.
Do you have anyone that you turn to, you know, for a sounding board?
Oh, of course. Of course. Important. I have a couple of executive coaches. I have a Vistage group that I belong to. I still every once in a while call my mom or dad, since they had both been in the industry. And also folks who have retired from the firm who know what it's like and what it's about. And there's some staff that I will rely on to, I guess, put myself in check sometimes. Mm-hmm. How am I doing? To be able to ask your team, how am I doing, right, is a really powerful thing for both parties.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
Part of Envision's mission statement is advancing communities. I know you touched on this earlier and the importance of it. What does that mean to you, and why is it so important?
Well, why it's important is after our we call it a regime change, but it's not really what happened at our firm. As the firm evolved and we were under new leadership, we did bring in a coach to work through mission, vision, and values. Mm-hmm. And we took a core group of staff and said, what's really important to you? And 2 themes repeated every time: design and community, design and community. What do we like about design? We like to lead design and innovate and really push design. But for community, our clients are more than a client. We want to know who they are, what their mission is, how we can support it through this space, how we can support it through other things. Can we help them fundraise? Can we help them promote themselves? And I think that once we do that with one client and get comfortable with it and see what that relationship brings in terms of fulfillment of having that extra layer of work that we're doing with them, it becomes more meaningful. And we actually start seeking clients who want a design team to be part of their community to help them advance. So it's really packaged neatly into 2 sentences: leading design, advancing communities, but it comes from what the majority of our team really values.
How do you find time for yourself, and what do you enjoy doing outside of building your business?
Yeah. Well, as I told you earlier, I did just have a pretty rough month. I had a health scare like I've never had in my years, and right now I'm under orders to find that time and create that space. So, you know, I try to keep the workday to 8 or 9 hours right now. I try to really disconnect. If I am not working, my phone is away. I'm not answering anybody's messages. I try to get in some yoga. We purchased a new house last year. I'm loving gardening. I never knew I'd love gardening. I've always
relaxing.
lived in a city,
Yes.
so
Yep.
it's really relaxing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even enjoy weeding.
I do too. That's so funny. Yeah, me too.
As crazy as it sounds.
No, there's something meditative about it. Yeah.
So what is next for you for Envision Architects?
I think that this wave I'm on right now of really finding the space to lead, which is also a great book, taking care of myself, and really getting back to design and mentoring as fundamentals of what I work into every day, because that was really hard during the pandemic, working remotely.
Yes.
And now we're doing it. We're doing pinups. We're doing charrettes on the walls. We're gathering around a conference table. We're bringing staff to job sites. So the design and mentoring opportunities are back, and I just really want to embrace them and help the firm grow. You know, it's kind of like a grassroots effort almost.
Well, we're happy to be watching you along the way to continue the success of your firm. We have a question from the previous guest. What's the biggest difference you can make for other women this year?
Vote. Make sure to vote.
Wise, very wise words, or word of wisdom, I should say. You get to ask the next question for our next guest. What's that going to be? What do you love the most about what you do day to day? Very good question. Daria, it has been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, President and Managing Principal of Envision Architects. Thank you for sharing with us your time today and providing further insight in who you are and what makes you tick.
Thanks so much, Megan. Great opportunity.
Appreciate it.